to be back once again and welcome you all to talking about leadership in crisis, how to lead when we know that we are facing uncertain times. And I'm here every week on a Tuesday, 5 p.m. Israel time, 4 p.m. South African time, and 2 p.m. GMT. So please feel free to join. Make sure to connect with me, share the video, invite your friends, and the videos do get uploaded to YouTube when the live is done. So if any of you have missed it, you can always get back to watching it later. So either on Facebook or on YouTube. So today we are talking about how to stay motivated in times of crisis. And we are still in pandemic mode, and really actually exciting to see that some of the restrictions are being loosened in many countries around the world. And there is beginning to be some talk about how to phase going back into our regular life and our regular routines, and how to kind of up the energy and see each other again and be able to go out and not be restricted, not have our movements restricted. And I know this will take time, but we are definitely in the process of coming back. So there is something really alive in the energy. I certainly feel it. For me, the restrictions on sport have been lifted completely. So, and in fact, in Israel, there've been quite a lot of loosening up, which is really fantastic. So I went for a run the other night and was able to actually go the distance that I wanted, and to see the people out and about, so many people running, walking, staying in the parks, keeping social distancing, but the energy and the aliveness of the place was just phenomenal to see. So I'm really excited about that. And I know every country in the world is in a little bit of a different place, but maybe it just does bring a little bit of hope and energy to people who maybe are still feeling the restrictions of, closure, shutdowns, lockdowns, whatever it is. So hang in there, we'll get there. And today we're talking about staying motivated. So please say hello in the comments. I really would love to see that you're here. I've said before, I don't see when people come on. So please let me know that you're on by saying hi. So let's have a look at some comments in the chat. Say hello. I want to see if you're there. I'm actually checking out my chat at the moment. I want to see if there's going to be any chats happening here. I actually want to try something on here. I'm going to put a hi comment in and see if that goes through. So if you can tell me if you see my hi in the comments, I'd love to know. I'm still learning the system and really enjoying using it, and really happy to be here today. So I see that actually Bridget and Tessa, I saw you came on. So please say hello in the comments. I'd love to see you. Don't stay anonymous. I need these hellos. I need these hellos to be motivated in this live. So the first question I want to look at today is, what kills motivation? Before we look at what keeps us motivated, let's have a look at what kills our motivation. What are the things that make it really difficult to stay motivated? What are the things that make us not want to go and do, make us procrastinate, make us lose energy? So I don't know if something's not really working with my chat. I actually want to check this because I'm not seeing any chat comments. I don't know why that is. Something must be disabled in the settings, but please do send those chats. I've got Liska on the call, is keeping me updated. So thank you, Liska. Keep me updated, because I'm not exactly sure why I'm not able to see any of the chats going on here. So what I wanted to ask is, what kills motivation? What makes us lose motivation? What are the things that make it really hard for us to feel motivated to do the stuff that we want to do? So whether it's at work or at home, that's one aspect of it. And the other aspect is as leaders. So if we're managing a team, if we own a business, how do we as leaders keep our team and ourselves motivated at this time? I think this is a big challenge, and certainly with a lot of the people I've been speaking to, motivation is something that's hard to keep going. So what actually happens is, what I'm hearing is that there are some days that are amazing. You can wake up full of energy, you've got a focus, you know what you want to do, and you can get things done. there are some days that you keep yourself busy but don't really feel productive at the end of it, which is really an aspect of losing motivation. And then there are some days where we just kind of wake up in the morning and we just don't have energy. We don't really have the willpower to get up and go. We find it really difficult to just, muster up the energy to get going, to get done what we need to do. Hello, Anna Marie. Wonderful to see you here. So what are the things that kill your motivation? I really would love to know. Put some things in the chat. I really would love to hear. Let me know, what are the things that make it difficult for you to get motivated? And as you write in the chat, I'm going to give you some of my ideas on this. I think for sure, when we are facing times of challenge, change, uncertainty, when we don't know exactly where we are, when we don't have a clear sense of direction, when we're in a crisis, especially like this one, where we don't know how long it's going to last, what's going to be after, what is the world going to look like when we get back to a semblance of normality, because now we're kind of we're in a phasing in approach. So what will the world look like afterwards? A lot of people have been put on unpaid leave, furloughs, or even lost their jobs. So they don't know what it means to actually come back to what, is it about looking for a job? Is it about starting your own business? Is it about taking a step back and reflecting? So there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of change, and a lot of, we just don't know what's going to happen. And that is something that, as we know, triggers our fight or flight or freeze mechanism in our brain that actually makes us lose motivation. It actually makes us lose energy. It actually makes us stop thinking in a way. We can't think creatively. We can't focus. It really destabilizes us. And that is a huge factor in losing motivation. The other side of it is that if we get stuck in a routine of just doing the same things where every day looks the same as the next day, that's also something that can help us lose motivation, because we don't have enough variety and we don't have enough stimulation and challenge. And I think for a lot of us, it has been like that over this period where, we shut down at home, spending the time with the same people. And, we may enjoy spending time with those people, but we need variety. We want to be able to go out and breathe some fresh air. We want to be able to have a change of scenery. And that can also help us to feel listless, lost energy, lost motivation. And another aspect, of course, is that all of this brings a lot of stress with it. Now, I want to talk about stress for a couple of minutes, because the thing with stress is that stress causes us to lose motivation, but there's a certain amount of stress that actually motivates us. So we all need a certain base level of stress in our lives. That's kind of our get up and go. That's the thing that makes us get up in the morning, do what we need to do, get on with our day, and kind of just live our life. It's a certain basic level of stress. But when we have too much stress and it just feels like a lot to handle, goes into overwhelm, that's when we find it really hard to manage, and then we actually lose motivation. So I like to say it's that difference between stress and stretch. We like to be stretched. We like to have a challenge. We like to have something stimulating in our lives, but we don't like it to get to the level that it stresses us out and we don't really know how to handle it. So those are just a couple of things about what kills motivation. And I really want to go then to what are the things that help us to stay motivated even when it's hard. And I have kind of worked for a long time with my own model of motivation and engagement for employees, for ourselves, and for our teams. And I'm going to share it with you today. And I call it the 3 C's of engagement and motivation for people. And I think it applies today, and I'm going to add a 4th C today, just because of the nature of our times, our crisis, and our pandemic. What is the 4th C? So the first C is really about competence. In order to feel motivated, we need to know that we have a certain skill and that we're good at what we do. Okay, and we're using our skills, we're using our strengths, we get recognized for it. Hello, Viva, wonderful to see you. Marion, wonderful, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. Such a thrill, delight to have you on the call with me. So thanks for joining. Right, going to our model of the 3 C's plus the added 4th C for crisis. The first is about competence. knowing that we're using our skills, we're good at what we do, we're appreciated, we are valued, we know that we're putting our own skills, what we've learned, our experience, what we've our expertise, what we've brought with us over our learning, life, wisdom, whatever it is, everything that we bring to our level of skill and competence is being used in the way that we can actually appreciate it and be appreciated. That is something that is really important to keep us motivated. So we want to know that our strengths are being used, and that's a level of competence that we have to have. The second C is about care. We want to know that we are cared for, okay? And that is showing empathy. I think that recognition can come into that a little bit as well. It's about really showing, if we're managers or leaders, showing others that we appreciate them, we appreciate the value that they bring, and then we recognize them for the value and skills that they bring to the team, the workplace, the family. Everything that I say can be applied in business and at home as well. And then there's empathy, genuine concern for people's well-being. We want to feel cared for, and we want to others, people working for us, people working with us, colleagues, family, everyone wants to feel that we care about them, just like we have to feel that we are cared for. So that is a critical piece in the motivation element. If we feel cared for, if we know that our manager knows something personal about us, if we know that our manager makes a point to either come past our desk when we're working at the office or to pick up the phone when we're working virtually and say, how are you doing? How are you managing these times? Are you having any challenges that I can help you with? That is a level of concern, care, and empathy that we need to be shown in order to feel connected to our workplace, and that gives us motivation. That's really, really important. And in this time, in this situation, even more so, to connect with your people and make sure that they know that you care about them. So don't make every conversation about work. Ask them how they're doing, how are they feeling about it, what challenges are they experiencing, how are they looking after themselves from a health point of view in terms of exercise, sleep. Are they managing to sleep? A lot of people are losing sleep at this time. So it's concern for their general well-being beyond just the level of work output that you need from them or that is required for their work. And then the third C is about contribution. So contribution is about being able to see the bigger picture, having a sense of direction, that we're really working towards a vision or a goal that is bigger than just the day-to-day task that I'm taking on. And that is really critical to motivation, because it means I'm part of something bigger than just myself. Now, this can be on the work level, of course, can also be adding a sense of purpose to our work or to our daily life. What is it all about? Why am I doing what it is that I'm doing? And that can be a big piece in that puzzle of motivation, because if we feel that we're contributing, so here we have, healthcare workers are kind of the obvious example of knowing that every day your work is contributing to someone's health, to someone's ability to stay alive. That's a huge one. But for every person, there is some level of I'm contributing to something through my work. Find that level of contribution, connect to it, and see how you can actually help that bring meaning to your day. So today I want to share that I actually took the day off. I cancelled my meetings for this morning, and I went with a friend of mine to volunteer at a farm where they needed help, clearing out the leaves. It was a vineyard, a grape farm. We cleared out the leaves around the tiny little bunches of grapes that are just starting to form so that they can be exposed to the sunlight and grow well. And we spent the morning out in nature, breathing fresh air, and really this is part of contribution, because we were contributing or helping out the farmer who needed extra hands to really help with the grape, whatever, farming, looking after them, making sure that they're growing. So again, contribution doesn't have to be directly linked to work. It's wonderful if you can link your work to a sense of contribution. And if you can't, what this pandemic has shown us is that there are plenty of opportunities to help out and contribute, whether it's with our neighbors, whether it's with shopping for people who can't leave their house, or just finding places where you can contribute your time. And I have to say that my contribution this morning of going out to the farm was actually hugely motivating for me, and did a lot of good just to be out in the fresh air, in the open, working with my hands, feet in the earth. It was really, really magical for me to be part of that. So I really think that if we look at that model in general time, it's really applicable and very important to keep in mind. And then obviously in times of crisis, even more so. So I'm just going to repeat the 3 C's, which were care, competence, and contribution. And then I'm adding the 4th C, as promised, for crisis times, times of change and challenge. And that C is about calm. So I think that as a leader, and again, I'm stressing this as a leader, we're all leaders in our lives, whether we are leading a family, whether we're leading a community, whether we're leading ourselves or whether we're leading at work. And the 4th C is really about maintaining our sense of calm. Because when we are in a situation where we're leading others, if we're in panic stations, if we're stressed out, our people take their cue from us, and they get very destabilized. They get very stressed and anxious if they see their manager or their leader getting stressed and anxious. So it's really important for us, yes, manage our stress, manage our feelings of anxiety, uncertainty, not sure what's going on, and then project a feeling, an atmosphere of calm in your workplace, in your environment, in your team. Because when your people see that you're calm, even though you're uncertain, you don't have all the answers, and you're not exactly sure what's going to happen next, it's really important for them to see that so that they can feel a sense of calm as well. And we know that when we're standing around or spending time with people who are constantly anxious and constantly fearful and panicky, it's contagious. It comes onto us as well. So if we're around people who are calm, it helps us to feel calm. So as leaders and managers, it's really important to take that point on and say, how can I project an atmosphere of calm? I'm not saying pretend to be something that you're not, but find that space for you, to find that centeredness, that calm space, so that when you're with your team, you can help them to be calm as well, because that is what's going to keep us creative and focused and motivated, of course. So one more thing that I want to say in terms of that calm is that it's really important for us to be able to find that space for ourselves, to take a step back, to find joy in the things that we like to do, to have time where we can have our downtime, our time to look after the things and do the things that bring us joy. Because when we can create that space for ourselves, for reflection, for joy, for pleasure, then we actually start to feel a lot more calm as well. So find that space for yourselves, that oasis of calm, so you can project that to your team and to the people that you're with as well. So I want to actually end with something that I read from Arianna Huffington that I thought was really, really fabulous, and maybe something for us to take away. And that is that this pandemic has made it clear that we can't continue to live the way that we've lived in the past, breathless and always on. And I think that when I reflect on that, the breathlessness, the always on, the freneticness of life that really characterized where we were before the coronavirus pandemic, I can really relate to that. I loved how she put it. It's like the breathless and always on. That's not going to continue. And certainly something is going to change when we come back. And that is the way to lose our motivation very, very quickly. So when we move into this phasing out of restrictions, and when we kind of go back to what may seem like business as usual, let's think about how do we keep our motivation up, and also how do we maybe not go back to how it was before? How do we go back in a different way so we can keep that space for calm, stay caring, competent, and contribute to the world around us with a sense of calm, and creating that space for us to be the leaders that we need to be in order to motivate our people and motivate ourselves. So that's it from me today on Tuesday, Leadership Live Tuesday. Thank you for joining me. I'm sorry about the chat or the comments that don't seem to be coming through today, but please do write in the comments, what do you want me to talk about next week? I have an idea. I think I'm going to talk about remote work or virtual work, working from home, how to lead a team that is working remotely. And that's what we'll talk about next week. And if you have any questions or if you have any ideas or suggestions for topics for future Leadership Live Tuesdays, please do write in the comments. Say goodbye in the comments, say hello, just tell me that you were here. I'll be thrilled to know that. It really means a lot to me that you join me every Tuesday afternoon. And I will see you next week. So have a wonderful Tuesday and keep your motivation up. Bye.